Welcome to the Autodromo Hermanos Rodriguez, named after the brothers whose idea for a race in Mexico was so compelling that it got presidential approval. And we're glad it did. Welcome along to the Mexico City Grand Prix. We're a long way above sea level here in Mexico today, which could pose some cooling issues for the cars as they make their way around this 2.6-mile lap. 17 corners with top speeds in excess of 220 miles per hour, and watch out for potential overtaking into turns 1 and 4. So with the race not far away from starting, here's what today's grid rundown looks like. Charles Leclerc lines up on pole position, and Yuki Tsunoda completes the front row. Considering the rest of the grid, we have Hamilton, Verstappen, George Russell and Norris, Piastri, Antonelli, Fernando Alonso and Liam Lawson, Albon, Stroll, Isaac Hadjar and Sainz, Gasly, Doohan, Esteban Ocon and Ollie Behrman, Hulkenberg and Gabriel Bortoleto rounds off the grid. With preparations almost complete, let's head down to the track. Well, it's been a long time since I last worked with you. Good to see you again today, Anthony Davidson. So here we are, 2.2 kilometres up in the air, which I know is an unusual feeling for you, Mr. Davidson, but for the drivers, it's even worse.
It is. The altitude can certainly get to your head, Crofty, that's for sure. Especially when you're walking up the stairs to the commentary box. I've seen it firsthand, ladies and gentlemen, don't you worry. But this circuit, the problem with the altitude is it takes away your downforce. You have to go slower around the corners because you've got less downforce, even though you've got Monaco wing packages on your car. That's the challenge of this incredibly unique circuit.
Okay, mate, radio check, please. Radio check.
Radio check.
Okay, you've got a drive-through penalty. You've been given a drive-through penalty. We can now use DRS. DRS now available. No tyre concerns at the moment, just focus on the driving. Two cars in one go, great job, really impressive. Good job, that was the fastest lap of the race so far. Final lap, push, push. Nice move, good job. Okay, pick up rubber and bring it home.
It's quite good.
And extending his already record-breaking winning record, it's Lewis Hamilton to the line for victory.
And that's 2 wins in a row now, of course, Crofty. And it marks the fact that it's not a fluke. So, you know, their head's in the right space. What more can we see going forwards?
And with that, we wrap up another weekend of motorsport action. But with more races lined up, be sure to join us when we come back with more Formula One. It's time for today's race at the Autodromo Jose Carlos Pache here in Sao Paulo. And as any of the 80,000 capacity crowd will tell you, this is going to be a fantastic race. Interlagos, always a very special race here in Brazil. It's a 2.7-mile circuit with 9 lefts and 6 rights, for a total of 15 corners. The fastest lap today should have an average speed of around 135 miles per hour, if, of course, the weather stays dry until the end of the Grand Prix. Let's run you through the driver grid order for today's exciting race. Yuki Tsunoda lines up on pole position, and Oscar Piastri completes the front row. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Norris, Leclerc, Andrea Kimi Antonelli, and Verstappen, Hamilton, Russell, Fernando Alonso, and Carlos Sainz, Lawson, Albon, Isaac Hadjar, and Stroll, Doohan, Hulkenberg, Pierre Gasly, and Gabriel Bortoleto. Behrman and Esteban Ocon lines up at the back of the grid. And now it's time to head down to the track. And alongside me in the commentary box, my old friend, Anthony Davidson. Interlagos, always one of my favourite weekends of the season. Love Brazil, adore this track.
Absolutely spot on, Crofty. I wish you could pick this circuit up and place it, copy-paste it on multiple different locations around the planet, because it is sensational to watch, sensational to drive. And for all these drivers here in Brazil, it's a great time to get stuck into this Interlagos circuit. It's an anti-clockwise track, lots of important corners to get right, and it's a track where you can make or lose an awful lot of lap time.
Radio check, please. Radio check.
Yep, radio check.
I'm afraid you've been given a time penalty for that last incident, mate. Okay, I've got a brand new race strategy on your MFT if you want to go and check it out. Okay, no issues with tyre wear for now. Keep taking care of them. Okay, final lap. Let's go. Final lap. And that's the end of the race. We'll see you in Parc Ferme.
Yeah. Sorry, I get.
Here's the checkered flag. The fans ride. There's room for 3 on their podium, but only ever 1 right at... Well, that was certainly an exciting weekend of Formula One. Be sure to join us for more exciting Formula One action very soon.